It's funny how we treat multitasking like it's some kind of superpower, right? We're always juggling a million things, feeling like we're just flying through the day. But then, when you finally sit down at night, does it ever feel like you didn't actually finish anything that mattered?
Yeah, that's such a frustrating feeling. You're completely drained. Your to-do list is still somehow a mile long, and those big, important goals still just sitting there. Well, what if I told you there's an old piece of wisdom that gets to the very heart of this problem? And believe me, it's way simpler than you might think.
So, this idea, it's super simple on the surface, but it's so powerful that it's been around for centuries. And it's basically a warning against the very thing we all do every day, dividing our attention. This little proverb, it's kind of the secret key to understanding how doing less can, weirdly enough, help you achieve way, way more. And here it is. The man who chases two rabbits catches neither. Think about that for a second. It's not that you get half the results when you split your focus. A lot of the time, you get zero results. And to really bring this to life, let me tell you a quick story about this guy named Ryan. He had all the potential in the world, but he was definitely trying to catch way too many rabbits.
Okay, so this is Ryan. Super smart guy, tons of energy, always had these amazing new ideas. Everyone who knew him was like, this kid's got incredible potential. But here was the problem. Ryan's mind was kind of like a butterfly, you know? It would just flutter from one exciting new thing to the next, never really staying in one place long enough to get anything done.
So like on a Monday, he'd be totally committed to being a rock star, goes out, buys a brand new guitar. But by Tuesday, he's convinced he's the next Picasso and is buying a whole set of paints. Come Wednesday, he's downloading an app, dead set on learning a new language. See the pattern? Ryan was an absolute pro at starting things, but a total amateur when it came to finishing them. He was always busy, always moving, but never actually moving forward. Then, one day, his village announces this big contest. The deal was whoever could catch the rarest rabbit in the whole forest would win this huge prize. And of course, Ryan, who's super confident in his speed, thinks to himself, why just catch one? I can totally catch two. I'll show 'em all what I can do. But as soon as he got into the forest, well, his big ambition got put to the test right away.
Okay, so he's in the forest, and suddenly he spots it, a slow brown rabbit. An easy catch for sure. But just as he starts to make his move, this other rabbit, a faster, much rarer white one, zips past in the opposite direction. And the prize for that white rabbit? Way, way bigger. So what does he do? He just freezes, totally torn between the sure thing and the better prize.
Now, hold on. This exact moment, this hesitation, is where a really cool idea called the switching cost comes in. Every single time your brain has to switch its focus, from the brown rabbit to the white one, or from an email to a report, it pays a little tax. You lose momentum, you burn through energy, and it takes time to get back up to speed. It's this hidden price tag that makes multitasking such a lie. So back to Ryan, he finally decides and sprints after the white rabbit. But then he second guesses himself and dashes back for the brown one. Too late. His noise scared it away. He whips back around to go for the white one again, but nope, it's long gone. And there he is, standing all alone in the forest, out of breath, totally defeated. He ran twice as hard as anybody else, and for what? An empty net. And as he's just sitting there, completely wiped out, the wise old coach from his village, a guy named Miller, finds him. Coach Miller takes one look at Ryan, the empty net, the exhausted look on his face, and he knew right away what went wrong. It had nothing to do with speed or skill. The problem was focus. And what the coach said next was so simple but so profound. He told him, you weren't too slow. You were too divided. See? Ryan's failure wasn't because he wasn't good enough. It was a direct result of splitting his attention. He had all the energy in the world, but he was trying to send it in two different directions at the same time. Then Coach Miller gave him this amazing mental picture. He said, think about a great archer. If they're looking at the target, but also at the trees and the crowd, where do you think that arrow is going to go? Nowhere good, right? A great archer, they block everything else out. For them, nothing else exists but the absolute center of that target. And that's what guides the arrow right where it needs to go. And he didn't stop there. He gave him another one. Your energy, he said, it's like sunlight. When it's spread out, it's nice, it warms things up a bit, but if you take all that same energy and focus it through a magnifying glass onto one tiny spot, you can start a fire. And that right there, that's the difference between just being busy and actually being effective. Okay, so Let's bring this all back to you and me. Because Ryan's story, it's obviously not really about rabbits, is it? It's about our projects, our goals, all the things we want to do. I want you to think about your own to-do list right now. Be honest. How many rabbits are you chasing? Are you trying to get fit and launch a side hustle and learn a new instrument all the same time?
The whole lesson from the coach boils down to this really simple 3-step rule. The rule of 1. Step 1. Choose. 1 rabbit. Decide what your single most important priority is right now. Step 2, and this is the tough one, you have to ignore the rest, just for now. And step 3, you pour all your energy into that one thing until you catch it, until it's finished. Because when you do that, when you focus on just one thing at a time, you stop paying that frustrating switching cost. You start building real momentum. You turn that scattered warmth into a fire that actually gets things done. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What is your one thing? What's the one rabbit you're going to chase this week?